Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be filming this autumnal, everyday, easy makeup look for you. These tones and shades are the kind of products that I love to pull out at this time of year, and I always say it every year, but this is Redheads season, like the warm browns, the terracotta undertones. To be honest, I wear these shades all year round anyway, but I really love that in autumn it kind of comes into its own and it really is the season to break out all of the kind of pumpkin spice themed colours. So here we are doing our autumnal makeup look for the year. I do try and do one of these videos every single year, so I will link my playlist of tutorials and makeup looks down below, so you can go back and watch some of my other ones if you want to from previous years. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoy this. Thank you so much for watching, and let's just get into it. Okay, so the theme is autumnal makeup today. I picked up a few new autumnal-ish themed products that I'm going to use in this video, so excited to show you those. I'm starting off with my Glow Hub Illuminating Serum drops, and I'm just going to take a little squeeze of it, like a tiny amount, just to use basically as a primer, because it was a while since I put my moisturizer on and my skin is feeling a bit dry, so I just want my foundation to lay nicely. So I'm just putting a little bit of a base on to help with that. The foundation I'm using today is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur in the shade Cashew. This is like my autumn winter shade. I do also have Shortbread for if I have fake tanned. I really like this foundation. It's very like natural looking. So I'm just again taking a little bit of it on my hand, and I'm gonna just apply it with my fingers and then work it in with a brush. I just want to build that coverage up a tiny bit, so I'm gonna just take a little bit more on some of the areas that I want to cover a little bit more. I do like going in with a little tiny bit at a time with this, because when I use foundation rather than like a skin tint or a light coverage tinted moisturizer, I just don't want to go too heavy, because I find now that I am 32, it can look very cakey very quick. So I just like to go in very sparingly when I use a proper foundation these days. So how is everyone doing? I hope that you are all keeping well and enjoying the new autumnal season, or autumn season, fall, whatever you call it, wherever you are. Although I do think autumn gets a kind of ridiculous amount of hype online for some reason. I do really enjoy the kind of change and transition of the seasons from the summer months into the autumn months. I think it just has such a like exciting sort of refresh vibe to it, and I don't know if that's just from school, back to school season, growing up, and it's just kind of like instilled that into my mind that like when autumn comes, it's like a fresh start. For me, I feel like really invigorated and like, I don't know, just quite excited about the prospect of the rest of the year. I feel like that and New Year's and springtime, to be honest, any time that there is a big like change in season, I think I kind of feel that way. But I think particularly in autumn, maybe as well because I love wearing like the colours of autumn, because obviously it is, I always say this every year, but it is like the season for Redheads in terms of like our colours and stuff. So maybe that's also a part of the reason that I really enjoy it and kind of feel like in a way I'm coming into my own. Although I will say like summer is truly my season when I feel the most content throughout the year and like happy. The warm weather, the light evenings is just like my thing. And my birthday's in June, so again, like I don't know if that's just because like I feel myself in the summer, because that's when I was born. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting because my husband, his birthday's in January, and he feels way more at home and like enjoys the winter months more than the summer months. So I don't know if there is something in that, but it's kind of what I've always thought in my head, basically. So for concealer, I just use the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum in the shade Light. This is just like my go-to favourite concealer for being like really kind of dewy and moisturising, but still offering a decent amount of coverage, but looking like my skin. Okay, so now that we have the base done, I'm going to start with some cream blush. So I'm going to use the Saie Dew Blush in Spicy, and then I am going to layer some powder products over my cream products. But to start with, I'm just going to blend this in with this Rare Beauty Cream Blush Brush. Such a mouthful. Cream Blush Brush. I really am enjoying this brush. It's like more of a recent purchase, but it's like specially like made for Rare Beauty's cream blushes, and I just thought the like shape of it, I don't know if you can see, but it's like really angled, but it's like a stippling brush, so it's really kind of fine and fluffy at the end, and it just works so well for any cream blushes, particularly this Saie one. I think it just blends everything out really nicely. I don't actually own any of the Rare Beauty blushes, but I know they do come in like a bottle like this. Oh, I would normally put cream bronzer on first, I just realised that, but I forgot. So we're gonna put the Saie cream bronzer on now. This is in the shade Light Bronze. It's the Sun Melt bronzer. I'm just gonna take a little tiny bit off on the back of my hand because it does tend to go in quite heavy. And then I'm just gonna build that up with a big fluffy brush. Don't wanna go in too crazy with bronzer this time because it is autumn, so I like to go really quite heavy with bronzer in the summer months. I do have a makeup look on that from a few months ago if you want to see that, but I like to keep it a little bit lighter in autumn winter in terms of the amount of bronzer that I wear. Next thing I'm going to go in with is my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. I use this every time I do my makeup, and I just do a light dusting kind of all over the face, but like starting under the eyes and sort of working outwards. And I really like this Katie Jane Hughes brush for powder. It is the 04 brush from her Spectrum collaboration. I don't know if they still sell this. Next I'm going to go in with powder bronzer. So this is the Hourglass bronzer in Diffused Bronze Light. Really like this one for the autumn winter months. Again, it's just like the perfect shade for me. So I picked up this Kosas blush. This is one of their powder blushes. It's in the shade Dreamland, and it's just a really nice kind of, how do I describe this? Like a warm peach. Could definitely wear it all year round, but I like that it has that kind of bronzy brown kind of undertone to it for the autumn months, and I've been wearing it for a few weeks now on and off, and I really like it. It is that kind of baked formula that, if you know things like Milani, their baked blushes, they're a little bit more kind of airbrushed I think when they're baked. Not too sure exactly how the science works, but have always liked a baked blush, and it's fun to like try a powder blush again after so many years of just like exclusively wearing cream blush. They do go on like quite pigmented, so you don't need to go too crazy in the pan. There's a little bit of shimmer in there, but it's not like sparkly. It's just enough to give a little bit of dimension to your cheeks. I just like the kind of bronzy undertone that it still gives because it just feels very autumnal, but I do think it would work for any season still, so it's quite wearable and versatile. For my eyes, I'm gonna do a little bit of a bronzy eye today, and I am all about the one and done shadow looks. So I recently picked up the Danessa Myrix Colorfix matte in the shade Exposed. So this is like kind of like a liquid pigment, and you can use it anywhere on your face. I have just been using it for my eyes, but you can use it as like a contour as well. I think you can also use it as lip liner. You only need the tiniest amount of this and you will have an intense eye look. So yeah, be sparing with this, but how I have enjoyed using it is kind of putting a tiny bit on my hand, then going in with my finger and like going straight on the eye. It also dries very quickly, so you need to work like one eye at a time, have your brush ready to blend and just be like prepared. But it gives a really, really gorgeous matte look. And the reason that I wanted to try this was because I was looking for kind of like a chocolatey brown, almost like a contour but for your eyes shade, and I've been on the hunt for a long time for a shade like this in a cream formula and just haven't been able to find it. And I think this is almost there. I think it's a little bit darker than I would have liked it to be, but it's pretty good, like I said, when I do kind of blend it on my finger first. So let me show you how I apply it. So I've literally just put that much on my hand and it spreads out loads already. So I'm kind of like putting my finger into it and then putting it straight on my lid, patting it out as much as I can quickly on my lid, and then I will just go out and go in and finish blending with a fluffy brush. And you can see that that just adds so much pigment already, just from that tiny little amount that I basically went in with on my finger. And that's how much is on my hand from that tiny little dot that I put on the back of my hand. So yeah, you get a lot of bang for your buck with these Danessa Myrix colour fixes. I have used one before. This is like the first time I'm trying a matte one, but yeah, really impressed with the quality and finish of it. So the reason that I like this is because it is a little bit more cool toned. I find a lot of brown matte cream eyeshadows are very, very warm toned and almost like orangey looking. And what I really wanted was one that was a little bit more cool toned and a little bit more just like a natural contour shade. And I have just run a little bit of it under my eye as well, just to get a little bit of definition under there. But just using whatever is left on the brush, and there's not like a lot that's coming off under there. So that is my eyeshadow done, and then I'm just going to go in with a little bit of brown eyeliner. I am using my NYX Epic Wear eyeliner stick, and this is in the shade Deepest Brown, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the top lash line and then blend it out with this angled liner brush. I am finding I've had this liner for about 6 months now and it is drying out quite a bit, which is frustrating. So I think I am gonna have to buy another one at some point, but it's fine for now. I'll probably go back to my Beauty Bay coffee eyeliner because I saw that they came back out with those. They had gone out of stock for ages on the Beauty Bay website and I was like, oh my gosh, they've been discontinued. But I saw the other day that they've come back online, so I think I'm going to repurchase that because I think the Beauty Bay eyeliners are just so good for the price that you get. I would say better than this NYX one. Okay, so next I'm going to do my brows, and as always I'm just using my Glossier Boy Brow in the shade Blonde. Okay, so I've just curled my lashes and I'm now going to add some of my Glossier Lash Slick. I have the black shade and this is just my everyday mascara. Finally, for lips, I'm going to use some of my Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in the shade Pillow Talk, and then I will apply some of this Fenty Beauty what are they called? Gloss bombs in the shade Fenty Glow. This is like the original one. I have wanted this for several years. I know it's like way past like the hype period for these, but I thought for autumn, this has a really nice kind of browny undertone. And it's kind of like peachy. It's kind of similar vibes to the Kosas blush, I'd say. And then I'm just going to apply some of my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. So yeah, this is the finished autumnal makeup look. I do think that blush, the eye tone and the lip just all like tie together the autumnal vibe really nicely, but still it's very everyday, natural, wearable. So please do let me know what your favorite product to pull out at this time of year is. I would love to hear what you've been enjoying for autumn down in the comments, even if it's like a home thing or a candle or something like that. Just, yeah, would love to hear from you in the comments. And thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.